So Stefan, can you kind of like give us a little bit of an idea of like why we're here at night and how many kids you have and how old they are? Hey guys, Graham from Go Fast, and wait, I just said I wouldn't do that. Hey guys, so I hate to inform you of this, but I'm shooting the video today and it's not going to be as good as normal because I'm the one holding this camera, and it's hard to do by yourself. Because Alex has a winning attitude, like all of us here at Go Fast, and he's in it to win it so much that he was able to get himself the rhabdomyolysis and is in the hospital. And what that means is he was doing a new workout regimen, trying to get strong and show his wife how strong he is.
What you think about when the 15th round when you're coming out? What, Rocky?
And worked out too hard to the point where the muscles in his arm started breaking down, going into his bloodstream, and when that happens, your body tries to pee it all out, but then all the muscle fibers get caught up in your kidneys, and then you can have kidney failure. Thankfully, he doesn't have kidney failure and caught it and went to the hospital in time, but that said, he's still in the hospital. So I'm shooting this video because we're still gonna win and give you guys an update because you guys deserve it, and you're winners too. So just excuse the poor handiwork here. New update. I'm in the car and it looks like I'm in the military or something. Some of you guys are into that. Hopefully you think it looks cool. It is currently 8:43 p.m. and I am driving over to what we call the big shop from the retail space. We are going to show you what we are up to in order to, that's my landlord back there, in order to solve this manufacturing quandary we have put ourselves in. Well, not really put ourselves in, but we're getting ourselves out of with adding some new vehicle models. I could just tell you, but I'll show you. Stay tuned. Oh, happy days. We figured out how to turn the old ISO up. You can see a little better in the dark. There's a new van in the parking lot I'm here to do some reconnaissance on. I'm really hoping you guys can see it. How dark is it over there? It's too dark. Sorry guys, we'll just have to do the manufacturing update instead. We just got the simulation. Oh, darn. This trash can is much too small. Oh, it's chips. No, it's got a bag. It's like a fancy selfie stick.
It's very fancy. I guess you want to talk about like what we're doing?
Let me check, we are recording.
Okay.
See if my framing is good, and then I'm gonna feel like...
Well, actually what we did was we reprogrammed everything we were already building.
Did we reprogram what we were building because everything we sent out was bad?
No.
Yeah, exactly. So there's no reason to hide the fact that we reprogrammed what we're doing so we get a better yield rate.
Are you filming?
Oh yeah.
Cool.
Been filming the whole time.
Right on.
We got a dog.
So yeah, hey, I'm Stefan. We've been working nights for the last couple weeks, basically just capitalizing on the extra time of day where we're not busy building campers for all you guys. Effectively, we're just trying to keep dialing in these fancy machines and just getting the best quality possible we can out of our machine parts. So all of our extrusion machining is done on the Vf10 behind Graham.
The Vf10 is this big one here, and then pretty soon this will go there also. So we'll have two.
With its brother.
With its brother. So who we got here running the brother?
I'm Alex, new here at GFC.
Yeah, I just met you tonight.
Yeah.
You started just jumping into the night shift, right?
Jumping into the night shift, yep. Been having a blast here, working overnight with Stefan and Skylar.
Sweet, and that's Skylar. You've probably met before, but...
How's it going, guys?
Yeah, so what have you been working on?
I've been working on tooling up the new machining cells to ramp up production. Working on figuring out our new brother Speedio here. So getting ready to make some chips for the first time tonight.
Sweet, and the brother Speedio is this new guy here. So the downside to this big guy is it's a little slow, because it's big. And this guy is real fast.
Very fast. Scary fast.
Yeah. So there's like a learning curve to like getting this thing ripping.
Yeah, I think we'll be running on low rapid speeds for a little while.
Sweet. This thing's kind of cool. Instead of having like a normal tool carousel like the one up there that kind of spins around and stuff, this one just has it all exposed and just swings around and looks like a banshee. So should be neat to see. So that's the same company that builds the printers, right, Stefan?
Yes.
Is it better machine than a printer?
Much better than a printer. Over the last 2 weeks, we've taken every model we already make and we've effectively reviewed all of the programs, reprogrammed almost every beam, just to really dial in the tolerances. Putting a lot of effort, just cleaning up these copes. The tool paths now are consistent, beautiful between, every single one of this particular part we make.
And the cope is where the nesting surfaces of the tube both kind of mate, right?
Yeah,
it's like where a tube touches another tube.
Exactly. Yeah, so this one's a lot more exaggerated. It's obvious. It follows the entire contour of the lower horizontal beam. This stuff has to be perfect to fit.
What kind of tolerance are we looking at on that? Like within like a couple thou?
Well, in theory, the machine can, but think about we're basically holding, a 6 to 7 foot long piece of extrusion and trying to control these features over the whole length. So, we're getting, plus or minus 10 thou repeatability across all of them, which, based on the tolerances that we've designed this entire camper with, and the accuracy of the machine, we're able to reliably and effectively put these campers together and keep them extremely huckable.
So I've heard the term kind of yield rate thrown around a little bit coming out of the machine shop. I guess the concern that we want to address now is like, what if I already have a V2 camper?
Well, so it's not totally a redesign. It's really been a reprogramming of the models that are going out. So everything that's gone out the door is great. It's passed our QC, but we were having to remake a lot of beams. Like if they didn't fit together properly, we didn't compromise and let them go out the door. So this effort is to make sure that what we pull out of the machine is a good part, and that assembly can put it together and it can seamlessly go to your door. So when you schedule your install, your camper is ready, and that's the same for every other customer as we get through this big production increase that we have coming up.
A little bit of confidence for some of you guys that might be wondering like, well, what if I have a V2? Like, are these new precisions gonna make my camper better? That's where the yield rate thing comes in. So the issue that we were having was the yield rate is we had to build 2 or 3 verticals. Maybe we had to build 2 verticals per camper or an extra vertical that replaced one. So the campers that were going out were always correct. There wasn't anything wrong with that. The issue was just our time spent on the machines. And we do have a limited amount of machine bandwidth, which is why these guys are working at night. So in order to basically clean up that bandwidth and create better long-term products that don't require as much double checking long-term and don't require as much machine time per camper, this is what they're doing and going through and rebuilding everything. And how does that kind of affect the process of new models?
So we've actually been, we focused immediately on the models that were in production that we had, installs already scheduled for and that were in production. So we got those knocked out of the way first. And then the second half of this little night shift program, we've rolled out the short bed F-150, which you guys saw the start of. There was some really small fitment issues that we just didn't want to compromise on. We want every single model to fit that truck perfectly. So we took the opportunity to incorporate those changes. We've also got the short bed Colorado.
Colorado guys are going to be stoked.
Yeah, now it's going to look sweet. Basically, I can go over this process a little bit. We basically take one side of the space frame, we machine all 4 beams and test fit it, and we look for, that nice cope fit up. We make sure our tabs, basically that fancy joinery that holds everything together, that everything lines up and is going to be, good for assembly to put together. So once a side is done and proofed, we move on to the other side. The copes are basically how the entire space frame stays rigid and basically spreads load from the vertical member to the side member. So as you get accelerations, as you're driving your truck hard, it basically allows that load to come through the entire, like all the members, and distribute to your bed. All the bolts, all the things you see, while these are things you want to look at down the road and make sure they stay tight for the overall functionality, they're not actually being loaded like you would think a screw is. It's really load transfer through the copes, and the fasteners and everything are just basically holding that geometry stable, not actually like carrying any shear or anything through those copes.
And is the engineering team going to work on some sort of like best practices for maintenance and torque checking and all that?
Exactly, yeah.
So don't go jumping into your camper and like torquing it down to whatever feels right. If you have any issues with fasteners ever, if you want to know if anything ever looks awry to you, definitely reach out to us first. It's not a problem that we expect to have, but we definitely can support you in that. And then long term, we'll have best practices and guidelines for kind of maintaining and taking care of your product. So Stefan, can you kind of like give us a little bit of an idea of like why we're here at night and how many kids you have and how old they are?
Yeah, so basically we're here at night working 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. For the last couple weeks, basically just rolling through all of our old models and new models, dialing in the repeatability of the machining process. So this hasn't been design changes per se, it's really just been what is our best practice for programming a camper, how do we get the best accuracy and the best quality cuts out of the machine, and how do we make sure that that trickles through our process chain, and once these parts get to final assembly, they fit together perfectly and they allow us to keep moving through our production week. So as we continue to work through supporting all of our camper models, so for all your trucks, we're basically developing a best practice for other members of our engineering team who are still working on days to allow them to continue to hold this one model per week program that we're rolling out, and basically make sure that when they finish a model that it is completely production ready, and that there's a seamless transition into the following week for the next model.
And then when we're giving people a timeline estimate, that's based off that one model per week. I mean,
Correct.
What goes into delays there? I mean, like we want people to know, like, we're going to keep you up to date as things happen, as things change, if they change.
Yeah, so for example, like the F-150 short bed model, everything went together great, the beams look great. I actually didn't allow that one to be released because the sheet metal just didn't quite line up to the bed rails, and the camper was just like literally an inch too long, which doesn't sound like much. It still fit the truck, everything operated perfectly, it just didn't quite have exactly what we needed. We identified laser scanning, CNC machining, all these tools sound like they take a lot of the hard work out of it. It's actually quite the opposite. You got to know these tools inside and out. You've got to be an expert, and our team is really striving for that and excelling in that in every way. It's just a little bit of a process each time the geometry changes, each time we have to interpret a scan. It all plays into this process, but we're getting faster with each one.
So Skylar, we kind of talked to everybody else over here right now. There's the three of you on the night shift, and
yeah.
What are you doing?
Well, I'm really just sticking at this cell, trying to change the way we've been doing it into kind of a new form of being able to program and roll out all these models better and quicker than we have been. So.
And what do you mean by cell? Like just this
cell
thing?
as in like CELL, the machine and everything that goes with the machine, tooling and whatever that may be. I mean, you've seen our robots, so we call that like a robot DT cell, and essentially the cell is just literally comprised of all the tools that go with it, the robot being one of them. So.
Like, I think a lot of people probably don't know, like, you don't just, I mean, you buy this machine, right? Like, you get this part, like all this stuff,
Yep.
but like, you guys custom built that rotary,
Yep.
which is that thing we talked about last week that does the spinning to enable a fourth axis, because you've got vertical, horizontal, and rotary now.
Yeah, well, and while we're getting technical, we'll call that machine from Haas the rotary, and this would be our trunnion.
Yeah, so we got the rotary is actually like the driver of the trunnion.
Yep.
And the trunnion's a big fabricated part that these guys built.
Yep, so
And-
all the trunnions, all custom, all the tooling's custom, minus McMaster parts. And then like the tailstock is something we machined in-house and
You guys
sent
want to see
off
something kind of
Anna.
cool there? Like it's all like GFC branded.
Thought of everything.
We got some grease coming out of that guy. But yeah, and then like these clamps are pretty amazing what they've been able to do. So that's EDM, right?
These are EDM parts.
Yeah.
So electro discharge machining. And
That's all you need to know.
yeah, that's all you need to know.
So basically what they've done is just create a full custom tool They have a bunch of other tools that are associated kind of with this cart, and kind of all the best practices, and that's what they're kind of calling this. So
Yeah, and even this is like one of the cool parts of the whole way we do extrusion. It's
yeah,
really just
this thing is so cool.
a way to lay out everything that goes into a camper all in shapes.
So it's like IKEA.
That way it's easy to know if you're missing something or if you got everything you need. Yeah, really just sticking to the programming side and making sure that everything we are trying to roll into production goes out quickly and smoothly and least amount of waste as possible, including not wasting our time and try not to waste all your time with having to wait for your camper to be built. So that's why we're working nights and we're working really hard.
So what are you doing though?
Well, so I am basically in cam half the time. Cam is how we take our 3D models and
Zoom in with my camera, I guess, here.
yeah, it's how we take our 3D models and make them in real life. So it's called CAM because it means computer aided manufacturing. And
So right here we're looking at that looks like the trunnion modeled with a little scale and the back rotary without the branding on it, but I still respect that you have it modeled.
oh, you just have that's part of it. There's a plate and then there's the tailstock.
Okay, so you don't have it shown right now.
There you
Hell
go.
yeah, check that. Dude,
So
that's
in
so
there.
cool.
And that's how we make sure we don't crash machines and have more downtime.
Is there like wood to knock on?
Yeah, this is kind of wood.
Yeah, it's particle board.
Something
Knock
made
on
of-
particle board. So this is the Vf10 cell that we're talking about here that Skylar just described to us. So this is going to show actually what that tool path is going to run. So what we're seeing right there is the actual cutter.
In
Right?
this case, we actually do probing.
That's the probe.
So it will, I mean, it's a tool in one of the pockets, so it goes in and it'll probe one clamp, probe the other clamp, and it makes sure those are in position so that when it goes and runs through the rest of the simulation,
So now we're cutting.
yeah, we're not going to actually crash any of these tools.
What's so scary? It looks like the thing's going through the hole.
That is one of the scary parts. If you want to see just how close our clearances are on tools, this thing is totally burying itself in there. Basically, our spindle ends right there, as in like nothing else should be going down into the machine. And this is essentially how close we get. We went from one of these being machined in 20 minutes to it takes 6.5 on one of our quickest ones right now.
So why does that matter?
That matters because that's what's going to get us actually building more models each week and basically reducing this lead time that we keep talking about.
And so these are on, is this on the vertical or is this on, what tube is this on?
This is a vertical beam, so all the beams that go straight up and down from the corners of your camper.
And so there's 4 of those per camper.
Yeah, 4 of those per camper. We say, I mean, if it goes from 20 to basically 7 minutes, then
Save 13 minutes per camper. So you save for 13 minutes per beam,
we're almost saving an hour per camper.
hour per camper, which at
When-
20 campers a week is 20 hours a week,
Yep.
which means that we can add that many more campers into that machine time, right?
Yeah. And that time's like literally from the first one we ever made to now, but these are still gains each week, even if it's from, it was 10 minutes before this actually happened to, now when we go to the brother, we're gonna probably save another 2 minutes, hopefully, when we start machining over there, just because all the rapids are so much quicker, and it should be able to hold everything a little bit tighter so we can actually cut faster too.
So if we're saving like 2 minutes per beam, which are these smaller numbers that we're talking about, 2 minutes per beam is an hour per camper. And 26 times, let's say we build 40 campers in a week, 26 times 40 is a hell of a lot of beams per week, times 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Times 50 weeks out of a year. We're talking like weeks of machine time. So, and what that enables is, for us, is less of these and more time with these guys in order to make better stuff.
Yeah,
And
always want to make
continually
better stuff. Yeah.
So are you guys have V3 ready to rock yet?
Dude, we're on V4.
We're on V4.
I haven't even heard about this.
I mean, have you heard of V5 yet?
I think I heard of somebody bouldering V5 one time, but that's that's as far as I get.
Yeah.
And who's this?
This is Calvin. He's Hey, don't be scared of the camera. Come here. Hey, come here. He's shop dog. He's night shift shop dog.
I'm gonna cut this deep so that
Come
we can.
Oh, we're actually gonna do her. So the cool thing about seeing these guys do all this stuff in CAD is they can go ahead and cut it and then do it, and then the thing that they're looking at is real. It's pretty neat.
Right on. So this is our automatic chop saw. It's the Tiger saw. Basically, this is what we use to cut all our days worth of extrusion. What's really cool about this is we actually wrote some software so we can go in and basically plan out our day, and it generates cut files on this thing. So the operator literally just navigates a tablet, clicks, and now that part is generated. So we're going to show you how this part is made, demonstrating Skylar's simultaneous 4th axis cutting that he figured out this week. Big best guy.
So this guy is, Stefan is told this thing what the stock size is. This little cart's running back down the trolley. So this thing will actually, he'll stop it, throw the piece of stock down, and this thing will push it into the saw. Important. It's coming in hot. Now they're friends.
Each time a beam is cut, a sticker is made with data from the part.
Calvin, what is this thing? Oh my lord! I'm sorry, Calvin.
Here, we'll just get an actual.
Oh my lord!
Oh, see,
Sweet,
it's not
sweet
that. He just needs
Calvin.
to smell it.
Yeah, it's not a gun.
It's okay, buddy.
Oh my lord, I don't trust you. Popping around the old machine here, the old DT Vf10, not VTT, Vf10 machine cell. You hear so much about the big old metal Johnny. You got your milk bath over here.
Scandinavian. Holy cow.
That's cool.
the water.
Kalispell Creamery. Locally sourced. So what they're kind of doing here that's pretty cool is they're machining while they're rotating, which we haven't done previously with this rotary and trunnion setup.
You can see the probing too.
And the probe. Nothing like a probe.
So what it does, goes down, touches off, and we can actually see our error on the controller, how far it is off of where it's supposed to be.
How close were you?
11th thou.
That's pretty good for just an eyeball placement.
Yep. There's a running game going on. Whoever is the first one to get all zeros gets a 6-pack of beer or something.
So now they're drilling the through holes for something on that tube. Is that for like accessory? Or no, that's for like mounting tabs and stuff.
Mounting for the strut ball.
We're not doing a whole lot of material removal.
Yeah, but mostly chip evacuation.
So I don't know if you noticed, but the trunnion rotated with the rotary there. Are we getting close to that rotary move?
Yep.
So keep an eye out to watch that trunnion rotate as this cutter is cutting. Get ready, it's coming. Oh my lord! Look at that. That's really actually super cool.
Really close. not too close.
Oh god.
Yeah. Here's another close call type move. You can see how close that thing
Yeah, you're within like
gets. And then
3/8
there's the
every
little
time.
drop on the table. Yeah,
She's buried in there.
that's what we're saying. It looks
So
like
what's the risk of crashing the machine here?
Oh
man, we
we
got so much
on
milk.
what you crash. I mean,
How bad you crash her?
If you crash a tool and you just break a tool, that's just a, I don't know, $50 bill. But if you crash the actual spindle into the trunnion, that's probably a week downtime at max, and that's new tool holders. That's probably a new spindle, and that's
Flying a tech out from Haas.
flying a tech out, and probably rebuilding some of our tooling, and more night shifts, really.
It's a bad day. How many machines did you crash?
I've only crashed like a 20-year-old machine and just only into like the vise, not exactly any spindle or table related stuff.
Was that
Drew's the guy to ask about crashes, though.
Forgot to knock on Baltic. This is your guys' last night.
Yeah, in theory, for this one.
For this push. Are you guys doing anything special for it?
Yeah, well, we had breakfast beers. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Keep it up, guys. We're proud of you. Skylar, what's the biggest thing you'd say you learned about yourself doing night shifts?
I enjoy sleeping till 3.